Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Keelan and today I wanted to make a video talking about the things that make us feel rich whenever we're living on a low budget, because I think there are so many ways you can make yourself rich without having to spend a lot of money, and they're the things that really kind of like feed your spirit more than the things you could just go out and waste loads of money on. So yeah, my dog is playing with me at the same time, so sorry about the grunting, and also the washing machine is on as always, but I'm sure you're used to that by now. Yeah, so one of the things that I think makes me feel rich whenever I don't have a lot of money is to put time into looking after myself properly. Like, I think that you can get really busy and kind of neglect yourself quite easily as an adult, and I especially find because I've got kids and a dog and a partner, I can kind of put everybody else before myself quite easily. But you have to remind yourself to just take the time to do the simplest things to make yourself feel good, like having a skincare routine. I don't think that that has to be expensive at all. I have very cheap like skincare products, but just taking the time to actually apply them morning and night, it makes me feel like I'm looking after myself, and it just makes your skin feel better. I have lip balm and like a hand cream that I keep on my bedside table, and I try to take a minute to apply both whenever I am in my room for whatever reason. Neither of those are expensive either. Like, I think my hand cream was from a like local fair, and my lip balm, I've got a Wild refillable one that I really like, and it has a nice scent, so that just makes you feel good too. Another one which I really need to do again today, because even though I still have some colour on my nails, they're quickly chipping off. I just find that like I can't keep my nails nice for longer than a day or two because I'm just so busy all the time, and my hands are always like in water and making things and cooking and stuff, so yeah, it's just impossible. But I think if you take the time to sit down and do your nails, it makes you feel really good afterwards, and it can be something that's easy to put off and not put much importance on, but I do think it is like one of those little things where if you attend to it, it makes you feel so much better. I'm really lucky that my mom has given me loads of nail polishes that she didn't need anymore, so I haven't had to buy nail polish in a long time. But even if you just get like one or two colours that you like and like a base coat, I think is important, because if you don't apply it, it just stains your nails. But yeah, I did my kids' nails yesterday and they love it too, and I think it just makes everyone feel better and feel kind of like they're taking care of themselves. Another thing that I think makes me feel really rich is just like taking a minute and sitting in silence and reading something with like a hot cup of tea or coffee on the sofa. And I like sitting with my dog when I'm reading as well. And I was sitting last night, I was reading an Agatha Christie book, and I was just sitting beside the Christmas tree with my dog, and I just kind of took a moment to appreciate how cozy it was. I'll put in a clip here. And it just makes you feel rich if you are really in the moment and you're not always rushing ahead to the next thing, and you let yourself actually relax for a minute. And I had a moment too where after doing lots of like tasks that I had to do, I sat down and had a cup of tea and read my book before going to get the girls from school yesterday, and just like sitting I was sitting in this kind of meditative state, like watching the steam rising out of my coffee cup, and it just made me feel really like I was really treating myself. Another thing that makes me feel rich, but that doesn't cost a lot of money, is having lights around your house that make the place look cozy. Like, I always have fairy lights all year long. I've now got rechargeable batteries for them, so we're not going through as many batteries. And I like to have lamps as well, and candles lit too, and I just think it creates a nice ambience. And I like this time of year when the Christmas tree is up too, because I think that adds to it, and I just love sitting staring at the tree at night. Like, I could just sit like mesmerized by it for ages. I just love the colorful lights, and it just makes me feel kind of nostalgic too for like the magic of Christmas, like in childhood. I'm trying not to move around, but it's kind of hard because he's like playing tug of war with me at the same time. I'm having another gingerbread latte, and I made some granola bars yesterday, which I just had one of, and they're really nice. They have bits of galaxy in them, so they're probably not very healthy, but they taste nice. I find that spending time on things that produce like a physical kind of product or outcome, it is much more satisfying than just sort of like wasting time and then at the end of it you have nothing to show for it. I know there's a time for that too, and I'm not saying that it's like bad to just sit and watch TV or whatever, or scroll through your phone. I really feel fulfilled by things that produce something you can see. Like yesterday I had a baking day, and I made like so many different things, and the kitchen smelled really cozy, and it was nice when everyone came home from school because there were plenty of snacks, and I didn't have to think about what am I going to throw together now out of like whatever I can find in the cupboard. I just think it makes the place feel cozy too, having the oven on, and I love having bread that I've made in the oven, and the smell, it's just like such a homely smell. And I think that limiting your phone time as well can really help you to feel richer, because I find that a lot of the time when I feel either overstimulated or anxious or depressed, it's because I've been spending too much time on my phone, and I maybe just haven't realised that I'm even doing it because I'm kind of mindlessly scrolling, or I've kind of fallen into a rabbit hole because I've gone on it to look at one thing, and then it kind of just continues on and on and on, and then the next thing you know you've been on it for like an hour and you didn't even plan to look at it. I find if I put it out of reach for a while and I make a point of doing something that doesn't involve a phone at all, I definitely feel richer. I feel like I haven't wasted like my life. You usually have something to show for it, and even if you don't, like having feelings of like genuine relaxation, that is worth a lot, and it's so much better than just losing your life into your phone. Another thing that makes me feel rich without spending a lot of money is listening to and reading things that make you appreciate the simplest things in life. For example, like, oh, I have it here, hang on. For example, I have this magazine that I get every month. I have a subscription, so it's a bit cheaper than if I got it in the shop, but I love it, and it provides me with so much inspiration and just gets me in the right mindset for like appreciating like the slow and simple things in life that don't cost a lot of money. And you can get it on the Libby app too if you don't want to pay money for it, but I just like to support it because it's just given me so much over the years. I find it really inspiring, and also listening to people on like Spotify, like in podcasts that are positive. Like I found one recently called The Cozy Club that I'm really loving listening to, and it's very like autumn inspired, and I just like all of their recommendations and their general chat. It's just like a really uplifting podcast to listen to, and it makes you appreciate the things you already have. And I just love to have like a brisk, like wintry kind of walk listening to a podcast. It just makes me feel rich. It reminds you of the things that are important to you. I think that like people sometimes think you have to have all this luxury to feel rich, but actually it's easy to create luxury without spending a lot of money. Like I find a candle really helps with creating a nice atmosphere, and you can get so many cheap ones now that are like heavily scented, and they're just as good as the expensive ones. Like I actually prefer the Home Bargains candles to Yankee ones, because I find that Yankee candles create a lot of like soot. They're just very smoky, but I love the Home Bargains ones that they have in the jar. I think they're about £3, and they have really strong scents, and they are like a lovely treat for yourself that lasts a long time. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it just makes your home feel cozy. I am a big fan of wax melts now, and I tend to use them more than candles because then I can use my burner and it just isn't as expensive in general. Another thing that makes me feel rich is to have clean sheets. Like I really love that feeling when you've changed the bedding and everything is like fresh and clean, and you've changed like all the towels in the bathroom, and it just feels like you've kind of reset everything. And I love that feeling too when you go for like a bath and you get into like clean pajamas and then go to get into a clean bed. It's just like something you can't buy, and it makes you feel like you're staying in some sort of like luxurious hotel. I think having like home comforts is really important, and making your home somewhere that you want to be more often, because I think the more time you spend around your home, the less likely you are to be spending money, and you aren't wearing yourself out as much too by running around. Like, I love to go for a really good walk, but I like to limit my activities now because I find that I get really overstimulated if I do too much, and I get kind of worn out and sick if I overdo it. And just with my mental health too, I have to be careful with it. So yeah, I find kind of staying closer to home recently makes me feel more like satisfied with my life. I love having meals in the slow cooker that you can smell when you come into the house. Like, even if we just get back from the school run and the smell kind of hits you as soon as you walk in the door, it just feels like a real treat, and it saves you so much time and effort as well. I like to have homemade treats. As I said, I love to bake, and I just like to throw together things that we can have throughout the week. If I have the energy, I try to bake a few things at once in the oven, because then you're not using the oven multiple times, you're just using it like all in one go, and then you have stuff to last all week, and the prep work is done, and you can just enjoy the like kind of fruits of your labours. I think scents are really important, and having like a nice smell in your home really makes a huge difference. It doesn't have to be air freshener, it could be like burning candles, incense. I've just always really liked things like that make like a comforting smell. And there's kind of another thing that I like is I like to get myself treats in the same way I would get my kids treats. Like, every Friday I get them sweets for after school, and I love wine gums. Like, I'm really obsessed with them, and I really love them with like a glass of wine, and that's like my kind of big treat to myself, especially if I've had like a difficult day. I just find if I sit down with a glass of wine and some wine gums after everyone's in bed, it makes it feel like everything in the world is okay. And it's a really simple, cheap thing to do, but I just feel like it makes me feel so good. And it's actually become like a joke in our house now, like the number of wine gums I go through. And my boyfriend bought me a wine gum bouquet for Christmas as like an early Christmas present. So I was like so happy when I got it. Like, I probably was happier than if he bought me like a dozen roses. I think having things on hand that you can reach for easily to create coziness, it's really important. Like, even if it's just like a blanket that you love or a hot water bottle, like sometimes looking back to the past I think can help with that, and thinking, what did people use like years ago to create coziness, because they didn't have central heating and things like that, and like they had really cozy socks and like good quality like knitwear. Like, I love my hoodie. Like, it's not exactly good quality knitwear, but it's very fluffy and comfortable, and I love getting into it at night time and like curling up on the sofa with a book and my dog. And it's just like, that to me is kind of like the definition of being rich. And another thing that makes me feel rich is having a nice journal to write in. Like, I love this one. It's like a bit more costly than the average journal, but it's a good size, and it's hardback, and it's by the artist Shana Clay from the Purple Palace, and I love her artwork, so it makes me happy every time I look at it, the cover, because I just love this painting, and it's like I can carry it around with me while I'm doing things. And I just find journaling like makes you feel so rich, and it's kind of like a form of therapy, because you're getting everything out of your system that you need to write down. Or even if you just write down whatever is on your mind, or whatever lists are kind of being created in your head of things you have to do, it's just getting it out on paper. It just makes you feel like it's taken a huge weight off you. And I think so much good could come from journaling, but it's not an expensive thing to do. Like, all you need is some paper and a pen, and it just makes me feel rich too. So I hope this video is helpful to somebody, and feel free to let me know below what things make you feel rich, what you do on a budget that creates like feelings of wealth, and the things that are important to you but that are so simple that they can often be overlooked. And thanks for watching. I'll make another video soon. Bye.